there's two separate features that two different groups are kind of worried, a little bit antsy about. Both groups need to just chill because it's going to be okay. What is up, everybody? It is Jake back with the MF Film Room. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things EA college football, hit that red subscribe button. Got a special going on right now. If I can get this channel to 1,000 subs by July 14th, 2024 at midnight Mountain Standard Time, I will be getting one free deluxe copy of the game for one of my subscribers. Xbox, PlayStation, doesn't matter. If you already got the game pre-ordered, they give you $100 cash. So hit that red subscribe button, also hit the like button as well, and follow me on Twitter/X. If you're interested in college football content, go subscribe to my other channel, Master Football Jake Posey. Link is in the description. But enough about all that EA college football content. Let's go. All right, guys, we are sitting here waiting, patiently waiting for any sort of update on EA college football when it comes out less than a month from today. The fact that we're saying that is absolutely amazing. So, the fact the game is coming out, everybody's ready to go, but unfortunately we have no real updates here. So what I wanted to do is go through something because I saw a video that came out, and it was by Eric Rayweather, and it was a very good video addressing a lot of the common asked questions. However, a lot of people here are telling on themselves with the questions that they are asking. So the video here is answering all your college football 25 questions, and this was posted 5 days ago on his channel. Now 6 days, because this is going to be posted tomorrow for me. But this video is about 20 minutes long, answers a lot of the basic questions. Are we going to have, be able to edit people? Is there going to be draft classes? Lots of things that we already kind of know the answer to. However, the first two questions are about new features in the game that people are trying to eliminate already. What I want to do with this video is go through and talk about those two features because there's two separate features that two different groups are kind of worried, a little bit antsy about, that we need to address kind of their complaints with those, a little bit about those groups, and also at the end of the day, why both groups need to just chill because it's going to be okay. All right, so with those here, we have the worries list. Now, of those worries, there's two different worries, each attached to each individually a different group. The first one here is the wear and tear system. A lot of people talking about that wear and tear system. You won't be able to play with the best/favorite players the way that you want to play. It's going to be too much to manage. You'll create chaos for offenses. We also see on the revamped passing side, the other one that we're talking about here is an additional item to learn. It's going to take away time from enjoying the game. Will create more chaos when throwing the ball. So on one hand, we have revamped passing. The other hand, we have wear and tear. I'm going to go through both of those groups, kind of describe who they are, because they're two separate groups that have this complaint. It might merge a little bit, but my opinion of the year is it's two separate groups. Let's go through that really quickly to talk about the groups and why they have these complaints. And then at the end of the day, we'll calm some of those nerves. So for those wear and tear worriers, remember here that Madden players, especially head-to-head, predominantly play competitive versus simulation or arcade. This is a source here from EA talking about those different game styles because everybody says, oh, it's the same game. It's not the same type of game depending upon what you're trying to do. So you have to select a different game style. This option includes simulation, arcade, and competitive. Arcade includes over-the-top action-filled gameplay with spectacular plays, lots of scoring, and limited penalties. Simulation includes authentic NFL rules and gameplay, whereas competitive uses sticks and are head-to-head ranked online and tournament default. And again, it mentions there that those Madden head-to-heads, especially through MUT and Superstar Knockout, is much more popular than franchise. So you think about that, they're like, oh, well, simulation, it's supposed to be a simulation style game. It is, but the most popular game mode is not the simulation, it's actually the competitive, but because it puts the emphasis on someone's stick abilities as opposed to their abilities to manage third downs, to call correct plays, whatever that is. Remember here, the competitive is designed around your abilities with the sticks and not an emphasis on realism. And one guy here who really is actually with the wear and tear system is Kurt Benkert. So Kurt Benkert is a big time Madden personality. Former guy, he played for the University of Virginia, went to the NFL, was on the training camp with the Green Bay Packers, and then he was like, being in training camp and how much money I make based on being training camp is or be like a backup player or like a practice squad player. You can do that here and there. He's 29 years old. He's not too old to be in the NFL, But he's like, bro, the money I'm making with just playing games is incredible. So his football knowledge, second to none. The homeboy was in the NFL playing as a quarterback, played with Aaron Rodgers, played with all these good guys. He knows what he's talking about. He is really looking forward to the wear and tear system for that simple fact that it's going to create another layer of management within the game. He says, in his words, this game, based on what it has this. He really liked the shells too. Talk about the coverage shells. He liked all of those things to basically say that he wants this game to be a virtual 3D chess match, you versus somebody else. Whether or not Madden players who are coming over are going to be into that or not, I'm not really sure. But just to make sure we're clear about something, a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, well no, I'm a Madden fan and I don't mind the wear and tear system. I want to make sure we understand what Madden fans are into. So Eric Rayweather says here, judging by the comments lately, some of you are going to be very surprised when Madden still sells just as well as ever. The masses buy the game simply to play as their favorite teams/players. As long as the Madden is the only game with the Cowboys and Mahomes, it's going to sell. And he's exactly right with that. The reason why people buy Madden, again, to play with the Cowboys, it's awesome. There's new games that, Maximum Football's coming out. There's a couple free-to-play games. But at the end of the day, if you want to be the best teams and the best sport in the world, my opinion, best sport in the world, you have to get Madden. And you play Madden so you can play with the best against the best, mostly using those players. And that wear and tear system is very, very adamant here about making sure that you have to adjust the way that you play. You cannot just, it even says right here, up until now, aside from the risks of throwing an interception or fumbly, what have been the impacts of throwing the ball 40 to 50 times a game? So those teams that you're like, oh yeah, well what I do is I go 5 wide with my quarterback who's really fast. I run around and I make plays. It's like, you can do that. Are you willing to live with the ramifications of doing that? Because your quarterback's going to get murdered. Some people might say, oh yeah, well those teams, I saw players at Washington State, they throw the ball 60, 70, 80 times a game, whatever it is. Yeah, and 30% of those, 40% of those are bubble screens, hitch screens, middle screens, hitches, slants, or fades. Basic routes. And again, not the fact that it's easy to throw those, but it's one of those things where it's designed around high completion offenses. You can do that, but you have to mix that in. You can't call in EA College Football, you can't call 35 or 40 5-to-7 step drop plays and not expect your quarterback to get murdered, because that's how it is in real life. And I could not think of a better example of real life football than this. Last year, the Camping World Kickoff game. Think about this. LSU, this is before Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. This is a game that led up to him winning the Heisman Trophy. LSU, one of the best offenses in the country, best players in the country, in one of the toughest conferences in the country. He is absolutely on fire, dynamite player. However, remember here, in the first half, they had a 3-point lead. And then, based on what the college game has, the college game is emphasis around the teams and not the players. 31 straight points was scored by Florida State. Now there was, and that's crazy. It would have been 31 in a row. However, there was a one play 75-yard touchdown pass where it was a broken play. It probably shouldn't happen. Somebody should have tackled him. Brian Thomas scored a 75-yard touchdown pass 11 seconds after the touchdown in the final minute here. So you see, that is what the college football game is. A lot of people are coming over from Madden because they want to play with the best players on the best teams and just, play and enjoy playing as Patrick Mahomes, playing as, Tom Brady, playing as Josh Allen. College football is a little bit different. It's around the teams. Everybody remembers all the college football revamp guys are like, oh yeah, well, whatever. We don't even care. We'll play with generic rosters. We don't care. Whereas the Madden players that are coming over are probably going to be like, hey, why do I have to manage my roster? It's because college football is more about 2 through 85 than it is about the number one player being the quarterback. Think about this. This right here, this game shows you that the best player on one of the best teams in one of the best, if not the best conferences in the country got stomped because the roster on the other team was so much better. That's college football. Whereas the wear and tear warriors are probably Madden players who are coming on over. The Revamped passing warriors is a different group right here. I'm going to bring this up because I am more in line with this group. So with that, the Madden players, and we're thinking about Madden players right now, they've had to have high passes, low passes, lob passes for some years, even had they've actually added the ability to have short, medium, and deep accuracies in the game as a rating, in addition to play action, throw on the run. They're just used to that much more chaos, confusion, and things you have to manage. I want to include this here. This article here from Sporting News has Madden 22 passing tips released 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, how to throw low touch and lob passes, high throws, all of that kind of stuff. It has those in here in case you've never seen them before. Like want to make sure you throw a lob pass, throw a low pass, throw a high pass. It's got all those different breakdowns. So thinking about that, all those Madden players who are coming over are like, oh yeah, we got this new revamp passing. They're like, oh okay, that's kind of cool. Whereas NCAA Football 2014 players and revamp players have not. All you gotta do is that if you tap it, it's a lob pass. If you bullet it, if you hold it down, and that's all the control they have. You lead your receiver, but that's basically it. Passing now will include a mechanic that's more like shooting in a basketball game. So coming over here to NBA 2K Lab, they actually break that down because you can see here on this, they actually have the best settings for your shot meter, your shot timing, and your shot release. Talking about that here, it says under the controller settings, you can actually opt to turn your shot meter off to get a roughly 5% boost to your shooting. Some people prefer to have the meter on, and it all comes down to the preference, but typically players at the higher levels will not use the shot meter to get that extra boost. So you see that within the passing now. Now there's going to be the ability where if you hold down the power button too much, it's going to be an overthrow. You kind of have to match how that passing is going to be. As opposed to the old games, you could just mash the button and you throw it as hard as you can. Now we've addressed the worriers, what their worries are, and some similarities between what those are going to look like. I want to make sure I go through these because this right here is where I'm going to quell a lot of those worries here. Not so much on the wear and tear system, but more in the revamp passing. When you talk about the wear and tear system, it's going to be more realistic to college football. We already went through that, how the best player on one of the best teams in the best conference in college football can get dogged because the game of college football is more about your roster. How many years did Alabama win the national championship when they had Blake Barnett at quarterback and things like that? It also sounds like it is intended to address cheater plays indirectly. So cheater plays. We all remember here that Madden, as much as they're doing their best, they've had some issues with functionality in the game when it comes to realism. Remember here, and this was a couple years ago, but the Madden Championship was won without playing a quarterback or throwing a pass because that is how the game operates. It was overpowered. They never really addressed it. They wanted to make sure that, whether or not this was the way that it needs to be is not true. The guy put a halfback, a quarterback, and things like that. But you can do that with Madden because it's not necessarily designed, the competitive version is not designed to be a simulation. Now, I'm not saying that guy was a bad player or whether or not he was always using cheater plays, but I am saying the fact that, again, this is going to be a different game. It's the most important thing I can say with all this is going to be a different game. You're going to need to play it a little bit different. It's not where you're up Mahomes, you drop back to pass 70 times, get murdered, and you could just keep on getting up and going from there. You can turn off injuries, turn off this or that. You're going to still be able to do that. But it sounds like when we go through this, all you're going to have to do to get through this is make some small tweaks. And realistic coaching decisions should quell most issues. Your running back's tired, rest him a couple plays. Your quarterback got messed up, run the ball a little bit more. Remember, the emphasis on college football is the team. It's not individual players. One thing here, and this is a guess of mine, it sounds like the road to college football playoff will have the wear and tear included. So coming over here to the road to the college football playoff, it says experience a new way to play competitively across consoles in the road to the college football playoff. Will you represent your university or take a power school to climb the polls? Very important here. Earn rank by upsetting the toughest opponents and securing votes. You need to progress the level up divisions. Stack wins to earn your chance at making the playoffs and then take home the national championship. Whether or not this is going to be something where PvP, I'm guessing it's probably going to be a PvP thing, or it might be a computer thing, whatever it is. But remember, the emphasis here is you get more points being those lower level teams and playing against those higher level teams. When you're on competitive, the top players are still pretty good, but it's more of emphasis on your individual stick skills, whereas this right here sounds like it's going to reward if you take Akron and you upset Ohio State, given the fact of the depth of the roster of Akron versus Ohio State. I'm betting wear and tear is going to be in the road to the college football playoff. And for you revamp passing people, especially NCAA 2014 and you college football revamp guys, I want to make sure just take it easy here. Because the wear and tear system, I think, really does lean into the fact that this is going to be a different game than Madden. For those players coming over, those Madden players, I generally think that's what's going to be. You're going to have to just adjust it. It's not going to be a big adjustment. It's more of a college football game. The quarterbacks aren't as precise. You're going to have to adapt a little bit more. Maybe, use his legs a little more, run some RPOs, maybe run the ball, maybe sub out, maybe go 2 quarterback system. You're going to have to kind of handle that a little bit more. For the revamped passing people here, oh, it's going to be a new system. How are we going to learn this? Again, it's added to address the ridiculousness of the accuracy of quarterbacks in NCAA football 2014. You guys remember, any accuracy over 80 was gravy. Any accuracy over 78 was pretty much gravy. You were as accurate as you needed to be. You also see here that you're going to have to make sure that you need to learn how to throw the ball with a specific quarterback. They're going to have different shot meters. Are you Shaquille O'Neal? Are you going to be are you shooting a bunch of threes? Probably not. Are you going to be a below average passing quarterback but a runner but throw the ball 70 times a game? Probably not. You're going to have to lean into that. And I'm betting, based on this fact, that it's going to take you a couple games to pick it up. It's not going to be super difficult. Oh, it's going to be a whole new procedure. Probably not nearly as difficult as you think it is. Probably similar to NBA 2K, where if you have the revamped passing versus turning it off, the revamped passing is going to give you more control. It'll probably be a quick ramp up here. If you play it casually, I guarantee you'll probably get there pretty soon as well. So for all you worrywarts sitting out there, you're worried, oh my gosh, the revamped passing, oh my gosh, the wear and tear, both individual groups, probably Madden players and NCAA Football 2014 players coming in, it's going to be fine. Remember here, how much long it's going to take? Probably not that long. You're going to have to learn a little bit of a ramp up, but it's not going to be that big difficult for you. For those wear and tear people that you're worried about, oh, I'm not going to be able to play the way I want to with my players. You're still probably going to be able to turn it off, but it sounds like those competitive versions are going to have it in there to make sure that it's more reflective of college football. College football is not a game where the best players take over. We already went over the fact that Heisman Trophy winners can get blown out of games. So the narrative behind, I just want to be the best player and just dominate with them, wear and tear is going to alleviate some of that. All right, guys, get in the comments. Again, I tried to quell some of those worries here. Originally, I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive. Like, what are you doing, man? This sounds so awesome. Why are you going to get mad? Why are you trying to turn this stuff off? And then I was like, I get it a little bit there, but I think it's not going to be nearly as bad as you think it is. You guys get in the comments. You guys let me know. Are you worried about wear and tear? Are you worried about revamp passing? Do you think also like me that it's not nearly going to be as impactful as you think it is? You guys let me know. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. And remember, subscriptions here. Get this channel to 1,000 subscribers by July 14th at midnight Mountain Standard Time. I will be getting a free deluxe edition of this game to one of my subscribers. Xbox, PlayStation, doesn't matter. If you already got the game, I'll give you $100 cash. So hit that red subscribe button. And that's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.